When I first uploaded Gadsden, Alabama, a city in crisis 3 months ago, I had no idea that it would become the most popular video on my channel. To date, it has received 326 views. In that video, I talk about Gadsden, Alabama's economic crisis that has been going on since long before the pandemic started, but has been made worse by the pandemic. And I talked about how I think that we should focus on our local family-owned businesses before the big box companies and chain restaurants and chain stores as a starting point to our economic recovery, and I talked about some ways that we can do that. Apparently, from the positive reception my video has gotten, a lot of y'all agree with me and like my ideas. So, in this video, I'm going to pick up where I left off, and I'm going to give you some of my ideas on how we can rally to get our local government to enact some of those changes that I suggested, and give y'all some of the information that you're going to need in order to do this, if that's what you want to do. So, without further ado, here we go. Before I get into the vital information, like who to contact in the city government and what I think is the best strategy to approach them, here's a brief recap of the talking points from Gadsden, Alabama, a city in crisis. For a more detailed analysis of the situation, you can refer to that video. There will be a link to it in the description as well as in the card at the end of this video. Okay. In the original video, I made three main talking points. First is that Gadsden, Alabama is in the middle of an economic crisis due to rising prices and a labor shortage. These two problems feed off one another. The second one was the city government's solution, encouraging locals to support local businesses, is ironic because a combination of factors have created a favoritism towards big box businesses and chain stores over local family-owned small businesses. And third and finally, addressing the second problem by making it easier for local small businesses to get set up and established will also begin addressing the first problem. Okay, let's move on. If you've already seen my original video, then you know that I suggested two ways in which our government of the city could make things easier for local family-owned businesses to get set up and established in order to start solving this economic crisis. The first was to repeal the food truck ordinance, and the second was to lower rent prices so that local family-owned businesses could afford them and not just the big box companies. And I suggested two ways in which those prices could be lowered. The first was to have the city buy up as many of the vacant properties as they could and convert them into low rent business buildings and rent them out to new businesses. And the second was to take city-owned land and rezone it for such buildings and build new low-rent buildings on those. In this segment of the video, I'm going to give you some information that you need if you want to write or contact our city government and let them know that this is what you want done. And I'm going to give you the information that you need to know when you do contact them. All of the information that I'm about to provide to you is available online publicly, and I'll have links to the source material in both the description and in the closing credits of this video. So don't worry if it disappears from the screen too fast. The first thing you need to know is that the food truck ordinance is officially known as the Gadsden Code of Ordinances, Chapter 130, Article 13. The major players that you'll have to contact about this issue or anything else having to do with the city government and the laws are in the mayor's office and the city council. Unfortunately, the city's website does not provide individual addresses and phone numbers and email addresses for each person in the mayor's office or the city council. For the most part, the mayor's office all shares an email address, and the city council also shares an email address. So when you're writing to them, whether it's through email or physically writing to them and mailing it in, you're going to need to put attention and the person's name either in the subject line of the email or write it on the envelope when you mail it in so that it gets directed to the right person. Alright, the key people in the mayor's office that you'll want to contact are, of course, Mayor Sherman Guyton and Frankie Davis, who heads Governmental Affairs and Economic Development, and the Executive Secretary, Angie Chambers. Now, Miss Chambers is the person that you'll need to go through to contact either Mayor Guyton or Frankie Davis. So, her email address is achambers@cityofgadsden.com. Now, the mailing address for the mayor's office, which is also the mailing address for the city council, is P.O. Box 267, Gadsden, Alabama 35902. And the phone number, which is once again Miss Chambers' phone number, is 256-549-4646. In the city council's office, the city council person for District 1 is Cynthia W. Tolles. In District 2, Deverick Williams. In District 3, Thomas Worthy. In District 4, Kent Back. In District 5, Jason Wilson. In District 6, Johnny Cannon. And in District 7, Ben Reed. If you are unsure of which district you live in, there is a district map available on the website at cityofgadsden.com. Now, if you wish to contact them by phone, you'll need to call the city clerk, Ivan Nelson, at 256-549-4517. Now, the email address for all of them is citycouncil@cityofgadsden.com. So remember, if you wish to direct it to a specific city council person, you'll need to put attention and the city council person's name in the email address. And the mailing address for the city council is the same as the mayor's office, which was P.O. Box 267, Gadsden, Alabama 35902. All right, moving on. Okay, just a couple of quick items to note before we move on to our next section, strategy. First of all, I noticed, and you may have, that I misspelled Miss Tolles' first name when I was giving the list of people in the city council. Her name is Cynthia, Cynthia. So if you live in District 1 and you want to write to her, please be sure to spell her name correctly. And secondly, if you want to address the City Council in person, you can. They meet every Tuesday at 11 a.m. at City Hall, which is located at 90 Broad Street, and it is open to the public. But be aware that if you actually want to speak to them, you will need to fill out the request form on the website. Okay, now let's talk strategy. Okay, guys, now that I've given you all the tools that you'll need to contact our city government about this or any other issue, let's talk for a minute about what I think the best strategy for approaching them would be to make this or any other change you might see fit. Now, obviously, you could just take the information I've given you and run with it. You could go out there and just write to them. And you could also just, approach them in an angry way. But quite honestly, I don't think that hotheads and lone wolves would prevail in a situation like this. Rather, I think that the best way to approach it would be to keep 3 things in mind. They're cliches, but cliches are cliches because they're true. First, strength in numbers. Second, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And third, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. So what I think is that, first of all, you need to get the word out. If this is a change you really want to happen, and there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can share the hell out of the original video and this one on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, whatever, just all over the place to get the word out. You can make your own videos. You can contact the newspaper and let them know what you're wanting to do. And I'll put a link to their contact page. Just get as much support as you can. That is the first thing to do, because gone are the days when you could just write to your city councilman and they'll see it and go, oh, this is a good idea. Which, I mean, that could happen, but in this day and age, I'm sure that government officials receive hundreds, if not thousands, of letters a week, if not a day. So, the best thing to do would be to have a whole bunch of people writing them all at one time about the same thing. That will make them sit up and pay attention, especially if you can somehow organize and do it the same day. Now, the second point there, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I think, once you write, you should be persistent, but don't be a pest about it. Send your letters, send your emails, make your phone calls, and then give it some time. If they don't respond within a week or 2, try again. And third, of course, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. So basically, keep your emails and your letters short, sweet, and to the point, and be respectful when you write. Because the last thing you want to do is make your government official angry. That's not going to, make them want to listen to you. And, that's basically what I think you should be doing. Your mileage may vary. That's my opinion. Now, if you're unsure of what to say, I will put up a link on my own company's website that I've been trying to get up and running in a physical building for years, to a sample letter that you can feel free to use as your own template. Alright, up next, I'm going to give you some closing thoughts. Okay, everybody, I hope you found this video informative and useful. If you did, or if you didn't, please leave me a comment in the comment section and let me know. If there's anything I should have included but didn't, let me know that too. Or if there's anything else you want me to talk about, let me know. Alright, and as always, if you like this video, please click on that like button. And if you want to see more of my content, hit on that subscribe button. And until next time, peace.